we're going to go over some spinal mobility. So how are you able to improve your spinal mobility? Two great options are working on your flexion and extension. So Ren here is here to demonstrate. We're going to start with that flexion. So you're going to get in kind of this nice crunch sit-up form, knees bent, feet driving into the ground, arms are crossed over your chest, and the goal is to kind of crunch up and drive your elbows towards your hips. It's different from a crunch because you're not trying to contract your core. You're really trying to hinge from your spine and kind of curve up, flex that spine, drive those elbows that are crossed over your chest into your hips. So as you can see here, Ren has a nice curve. He's crunching everything up, finding that next flexion in his spine, and going through super slow and controlled. When doing any form of spinal mobility, that slow and controlled is super important to get the most out of it. You will feel a contraction in your core, and that kind of goes to demonstrate the connection between your core through breathing as well as the support that comes from your back. So this is a great example of flexing that spine, driving those elbows towards those hips, driving your feet into the ground, flexing that spine. Your neck and head will naturally drift forward. That's okay. It's just going to increase that spinal flexion as it goes through your cervical spine. The other side of things is extension. So you're going to flip onto your stomach. You're going to start with your hands tucked into the small of your back. Your chin is going to be resting into the ground. What you're going to do, drive your hips, your thighs, your knees, your feet into the ground and hold them in place. And you're going to bring your chest up off the ground super slow. And then bring your chin back down to the ground. You're really going to try and extend from your spine. Your lower body should be anchored into the ground. A lot of times people's toes will drift up. That just means you're recruiting your hamstrings, your glutes to kind of pull everything up off the ground. Since we're really trying to focus on just spinal extension, you really want to make sure all of your lower body is based into the ground, really driving in. So Ren is giving a great example of the slow and controlled, bringing up through the spine, feeling it all down the spine, keeping those hands in place, and driving it back down. These spinal flexion and extension drills are great for strengthening your back, really good for helping to avoid tweaking, twisting your back unnaturally, and strengthening that mobility in that area. And I hope this helps.